Such a lovely compliment. Thank you. All right, let's do another look. We're starting with a warmer base. This is already going to give my eyes some contrast. I'm going to take it pretty far up. This is actually one of my favorite liquid shadows and one of my favorite shades of this liquid shadow. And since this is kind of a peachy warm on my skin tone, this is going to look wild for right now, but I actually like to take a little bit underneath here, and I'm going to use this kind of as a corrector. See how it's canceling that already? Let's grab a whisper of that shade. And notice I'm using a fluffier E29 brush, and that way I'm not depositing too much pigment. I don't want this to be quite as pigmented up here. I don't even mind my little freckles showing through. Now I always label the brushes, but some of you don't know, these are actually our brushes, Rose & Ben Beauty brushes. So any of the brushes that you ever see me use are gonna be ours. Next, we're gonna grab this shade. This is really gonna start to contrast. I'm gonna start kind of on our lash line and bring it up through here. And here is through here, but I'm gonna have to build a little bit because I'm grabbing small amounts and I'm using that fluffier brush. That way I don't get too wild all at once. The fluffier the brush, the more diffuse that application is gonna be. And you're seeing me press. Oh, look how pretty that is already. I'm so excited for this look, but I'm trying to keep it demure. I thought we'd switch to back camera so we can see even better. So if you have hooded eyes, this E27 brush here is going to be a match made in makeup heaven. And the reason why is because you're able to kind of press and place all while keeping control. So when you have a more hooded eye, and yes, I understand I do not have hooded eyes, but I do understand the shape. Many moons ago, I did used to do clients, but that's beside the point. So whenever you're using a fluffier brush like this, the color and the pigments are going to tend to kind of migrate. A brush like the E27 can go over the folds, and then we can also tilt our head back and then just kind of fill in the gaps. So it's really nice for that kind of smaller area on the eye. So we're keeping most of that brightness through here. That's going to enhance the eye while keeping this a little bit more tame. I'm going to grab these two shades and I'm just going to continue to kind of build it up more on the lid space. Again, if we have hooded eyes, we're just going to bring it up out of that fold a little bit more. But by keeping it kind of in this rounded area, we're going to get the eye enhancing benefits while staying a little more tame. When I want to enhance and I still want intensity, I do add it more towards the outer part of the eye. Once we get our mascara on, that generally starts to hide a little bit more, so it just kind of peeks through. So whenever you're wanting intensity, we'll call it secret intensity, the outer corner through here is always a good idea. Now this color is the shade you'd probably see in a neutral palette that you already have. So we're gonna take this one, it's just a little bit more of a pinky brown, and we're just gonna push that one through here with our E27. See how nicely this brush fits in here? Grab your favorite bronzer. This one, no matter your eye shape, we're gonna grab a fluffier brush. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna tap this all over all of the color aside from my lid space. We'll come back to the lid space, but this is a really good way to be less afraid of these types of colors, to kind of incorporate your bronzer. Now this is my favorite base for shimmers, and if you really want them to stay in place and not kind of run and migrate around the face, we're gonna use a really tacky base like this one. Now, I will say what we need to do is make sure that this is really nice and even across the lid, or we will have creasing. So I'm using a dense brush. This is a D2. This one's coming very soon. I was looking to make sure I grabbed the right one, so D1, D2. Coming soon. Now this is definitely gonna make my eyes pop, but I'm still gonna use the fluffier brush. And also I'm only going to apply the shimmer kind of in the center of the eye. I'm not gonna bring it over this way, and it's not going all the way over this way. Did y'all just see my creepy baby doll in action? Can y'all do that? Now I'm gonna add some depth at my lash line. Now this particular shade from Kosas is sold out, but what we're looking for here is a burgundy, and I believe it's Lancome. I'll have it labeled here. They have a really nice shade, and I really think that y'all will like that one as well. Now I'm just gonna use that side of the E27 and just kind of smudge the lash line. By using the side, we're gonna keep the pigment, but we're just gonna be able to tap to transition and soften the very top part. We wanna keep the lash line nice and dark. I'm gonna put this on my waterline, but I'm going to kind of use a dense brush. This is the D2 again. I'm gonna take that, and just by pressing a little bit right there in the center, do you see how it exposes my waterline so much easier, and then I'm not tugging. So by pressing, we're not tugging, and we want to be really gentle around the eye area. To powder my lashes, the drier your lashes, the better. Powder your lash curler. What happens is skincare, really anything that might be left in your lashes, is going to weigh them down and change the formula of your mascara. Let's add our mascara. Notice how I'm shutting both eyes and then I'm rolling the wand. That can help keep control. And then I'll just work on the tips once I get the roots done. Get that foundation on. And the C42, obviously it's designed with super smooth foundation in mind, but it's really meant to make your foundation go farther. So we actually wind up wearing less and not using as much. And it takes forever to get through a foundation bottle because the fibers don't absorb. And the way that they move that foundation around the face really helps. See that little bit that was just through there? Look at how far it's went. A little extraction, and then look at how nicely it fits around my brows. I always do my brows first, so I wanted my angles, and of course to fit around here. And how a brush is angled really does matter on application. Ooh, that's satisfying. I'm gonna use a little less concealer since we were color correcting already with that liquid shadow. Also notice that how thinly I applied that. Always apply all of your products, really anything. I'm reaching for a brush, but apply them as thin and smooth as possible at first. It really helps. So now I'm gonna take that concealer, push it in here, melt it into that shadow, continue to melt over here. We are really hitting pan on this. All right, we're grabbing this bronzer on a C40, and I'm applying this. This again lends itself to the fibers. I'm applying this directly on top of that wet foundation. I love powders because I love the pigment that they bring, but sometimes we can't apply them on top of wet products because we'll tend to get patchy. But that's where, again, the fibers come in. Look at how seamless that is. And that wetness is enhancing the pigment. Let's grab this shade, and we're gonna take advantage of that wet concealer. That's going to grab this and we won't have fallout. And this is also a very eye color enhancing shade to place underneath here. Bronzer on the tip of an E29. I'm gonna look up. It's just on the tip of it, and we're pushing it to kind of finish that transition. Now we're gonna set, this is gonna blur the rest of that transition. And then I also like to take my powder on my puff here, and I'll just kind of press it on the edge. What I'm wanting to do is just melt this outer part into the skin. And I want to set the rest of my face, but like we talked about earlier, remember, the fluffier the brush, the lighter the application. This is the D1 coming very, very soon. And I like a lighter application of powder on the perimeter of my face. So this brush is going to be perfect for that. Blush is in the same color family. So notice how little I picked up. We're going to grab that on our C41. Instead of shimmer, let's grab this color, and we're going to brighten up that inner corner. And since it's still in this pretty purple amethyst pink range here, it's really going to enhance the eye color. Maybelline Lifter Liner. The shade is Line Leader, and then we're going to top it with one of the prettiest lipsticks that I've ever had. This is Tom Ford. I know it's a spicy price, but man, this color, and it's a bullet lipstick, and it wore all day yesterday. I did not even have to retouch it. I did wear it with the Maybelline lip liner, and I know that helps, but I love this color. All right, friends, here's our finished look. I love this tone for fall. Well, really for any time. If you watched this entire video, thank you from the bottom of my heart. We have fun here, and I hope to see you in the next one.